Everybody ready? I think we're ready. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Voodoo Garden. My name is Ray. I will be your host today, and we have some Q&A, and it's what I like to call Weekend Edition. Yes, it's Weekend Edition, but before we get started, take a look. I have a worm casting or compost sieve, which is what you sift your compost with. I have a 4-ounce bag of mung beans, which is what you sprout to make bean sprouts to put on your salads or in your cooking. They're delicious. Or alfalfa seeds. These are fantastic. I mentioned these in my live broadcast. Remember when I was all pixelated on the Praxis channel? Yeah, that was a good time. These are like 1 billion or 2 billion seeds. 4 ounces of alfalfa seeds. You can either sprout these and have alfalfa sprouts, and they're absolutely delicious, or you can plant these in your garden and alfalfa will grow. Alfalfa is a fantastic cover crop to affix nitrogen into your soil, so it's a great thing. And by the way, here's a little tip from me on making sprouts. Whenever you're making bean sprouts or alfalfa sprouts, normally you put them in a container, you add some moisture, and you keep them out of direct sunlight, and you get these sprouts in a few days, and you put them on your salads. Well, what I've done is I make the sprouts, but then the day before I put them, I use them to eat. I put them in a lighted location, not full sun or anything, but a bright location, and it greens them up nicely. And I believe, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, I'm just a voodoo gardener, but I believe this actually adds nutrition to them because they get darker green, and I'm assuming darker green as opposed to the anemic looking green that you normally see in sprouts. I believe that darker green is going to help with more vitamins, more nutrition. So whenever you're sprouting, do that with your sprouts. And also, I have a bowl overflowing with seeds, Ducat dill seeds. These are harvested from the dill that I planted last year. Boxcar Willie, Prax cherry, cherry radishes, Galapagos tomatoes, you name it. Oh, toothache plant. All kinds of fun stuff in here. All kinds of packets of seeds. And the reason I'm mentioning this is, if you have annotations enabled while you're watching this video, and if you don't know what annotations are, ask somebody or research it, because I don't have time to explain it, but you should know, because annotations are what allow the ads to show, and also for us to post notes and stuff on our videos. That's what annotations means. Some people disable them so they don't have to look at ads, and that's very convenient for some people, but the thing is that a lot of the channels that put out videos, they enable ads, and the ads are for advertisers, and the person who has the ads on their page, they get paid a very micro amount of money each time somebody watches the ads. That's the reason YouTube puts ads out there. They're not just out to irritate you. They're out to sell a product, and they're also out to help the people that produce videos to make a few dollars. But anyway, if you have annotations enabled, at the very end of this, at the very end over here, this would be the end. Okay, at the very end of this video, there's going to be a blank screen. And if you have annotations enabled, there's going to be a little secret on that blank screen. If you don't have it, all you're going to see is a blank screen, and that's really too bad. But if you do have annotations enabled, you're going to see something, and it has to do with that, okay? That's all I'm going to tell you about it. I mentioned that I was going to do something with these products, and so if you have them enabled, have fun. All right, let's get to the questions and answers. I love this part. All right, first one is from 006 Canadian. Hi, can tropical seeds be frozen? My answer to this is tropical seeds are generally from plants that grow in a tropical region, of course, and tropical regions generally do not have cold times. So normally, I mean, I'm just thinking like a plant, and I do that best, I guess. If I'm a tropical plant and I have seeds, those seeds are not generally frozen. So you may be able to freeze them, but then again, it's probably not the best thing for tropical seeds. Things like lettuce, radishes, things that are grown in cooler climates, yes, their seeds can be frozen. I've frozen tropical seeds without a problem, like pepper seeds and tomato seeds. But as a rule, if you just keep them in a cool, dry place in an airtight container, you're just fine. So I really wouldn't do it. Even though you can, I wouldn't do it. Quay Win, I hope I pronounced that right. Quay Win says, hi, hey Ray, hey Quay, do you know an easy way to harvest strawberry seeds from the fruits? Yes, I do, as a matter of fact. I think it was 2 years ago. I grew strawberries from seeds. Now, I didn't do this on video, so I'll tell you how I did it. What I did was I took some very ripe strawberries. You can get these from the grocery store, they're fine. Very ripe, beautiful strawberries from the grocery store. Take the very best. I know it's really tempting to eat these, but take the very best, largest, best shaped, juiciest strawberries and hold those to the side. And what you do is, you know, on the outside of a strawberry, there's little tiny dots. Some people say those aren't true seeds, but they are. They really are. You take these strawberries, take about maybe 3 or 4, toss them in a blender, add some water, and maybe a cup of water. Blend it up and just leave it on there. Just blend it until you can't really see much, until it's like pink water. Keep adding water to it, all right? Until you're about filling that blender up. And then just keep blending it, and then when you're done, let it set for a few minutes. The seeds will sink to the bottom. Then you pour off the top nice and slow. You add some more water, mix it up, like on blend, very slow for just a minute. Pour out the water. Keep doing this until the water runs clean, relatively clean. What's going to be on the bottom is maybe a couple pieces of the green on top of the strawberry, but also the seeds are going to be at the bottom because you blended them right off the strawberry. You can try and pick them off the strawberry, but boy, that is a pain in the butt, and it will take you a lifetime. It's really not worth it. I just blend them up. That's what I did. Took a few strawberries, blended them up. At the very end, I had this little pile of seeds, and then at the end, you pour that onto a paper towel and then spread them out just a little bit, let it dry, and then you take little sections of paper towel, put them in a cup, cover them up with a 1/4 inch of soil, keep them slightly moist. You're fine. And you're going to have all kinds of little strawberries. The thing is, they don't have a really high germination rate. That's why you want to do a whole bunch of seeds. Okay, that's how you do it. TJ Dooley. Hey, TJ. Hey, Ray. I just said hey. Hey, Ray, how long would you suggest planting seeds indoors before planting them outside in the spring? Very good question. That's actually one of the most asked questions. When do you plant your plants before taking them outside? If you're asking me personally, I plant them any time of the year because even though I may plant like in the middle of winter, by the time spring comes along, I have this big, huge tomato and pepper plant to take outside, and it grows a lot faster, it produces a lot quicker. But generally, you plant 6 weeks before the date that you're supposed to plant outside. It gives the seed plenty of time to germinate, plenty of time to get established, healthy, and then when it comes planting time, you take them outside, you harden them off, which means you acclimate them to the brighter light. You take them out, give them a few days of shade. You take them out, give them a few hours of shade each day, shade, no sun, just shade, very dark shade. And then you increase it. After a few days, you might give them an hour of sun or half an hour of sun, then put them in shade. And this gets them acclimated to the light. It's kind of like if you're in a dark room, even though you have bright lights, it's really dark compared to outside. And if you go outside, you're blinded. Well, with the plant, it's the same way, only this kind of blindness kills a plant because they, you know, it's just like being out on the sun. They do not handle it well. Some may, but most plants will just go, and they die, they shrivel up because it's too much too quick. In nature, they grow up out of the soil. They immediately have the sun, so they don't have to acclimate. When you're starting them inside, you do have to do that. It'll take like a few days of shade, then maybe a few days of an hour's worth of sun, and then after that, maybe a whole morning of sun, and then after the whole morning for a few days, you're fine. Go ahead and plant them in the garden. Next one, M. King. Hello, M. Oh, this is a long one. I want to grow sweet potatoes this year from slips grown in water. By the way, slips are pieces of potato. I want to grow sweet potatoes this year from slips grown in water-filled jars about 8 weeks before my last frost. Every site I go to details how to do this and plant them, but no site says if the slips need to be hardened off at all. I'm never putting the slips into small pots before they go outside, just jars of water. I would think if I tried to place the jars outside, they'd bake in the water, or more or less boil. Should I just move them outside to plant when ready? You know, that's a really weird question because if you have them in water, you can't really harden them off out in the sun because that's going to boil the water. One thing that you can do if you have them in jars of water, if you want to harden them off, is you can take the jars and take a piece of paper, wrap it around a couple times around the jar. This is going to reflect all of the light and the heat from the jar. It'll keep the water cool, but it'll also give your plants some sun. Harden them off like I just mentioned in the last question, and they're going to be just fine. Or if they start putting out little growth and stuff like that, you can take the whole potato, put it underneath, oh, I'm sorry, I spit. You can put it underneath the soil to where the green is just barely covered in soil, and then as the green comes through, it's going to get acclimated to the sun very easily. And that is, I think putting them out in the sun, maybe with the white paper around it, I think that's going to probably be your best bet. Very good question. My gosh, you guys are amazing. Next one, Steffi. Hi, Steffi. Is there a contradiction between I reuse my container soil as it gets better through time, in quotes, and don't plant tomatoes and other plants at the same place in subsequent years? I guess you're referring to me, what I said. With me, I reuse all of my soil. And I don't go by that, don't plant in the same place each year, otherwise you're going to have problems. I know it's the most accepted thing in gardening. Do not plant tomatoes in the same spot every year. Do not plant potatoes. Don't do this, don't do that. Well, I do. And yeah, you run a risk if you have diseased plants of having diseased plants the next year. Well, I don't have diseased plants, and I have had them, and I take care of the problem. But the thing is that I've never had a problem the next year. Nature has a way of taking care of itself if you have good, healthy soil. And if you have a diseased plant, you don't just compost it into the soil. You yank that sucker out and throw it in the throw it in the trash. And don't leave it in your compost pile. Don't leave it in the soil. That's what I do. So I don't have a problem planting in the same containers or in the same spot every year. I just reuse. Okay, next, well, this is another part of the same question. Do you mix up your used soil from different plants to dilute the problem, or do you track the history of your soil? Well, I already answered that. No, I don't track anything. I'm a very laid-back gardener. I just let it go. And I don't have a problem. I know that sounds lazy, but it's actually just my way of gardening. I don't stress over things. If I have a real problem, I focus on that problem and I cure that problem. I do the best that I can, but if I don't have a problem, I don't worry about the problem. As far as I know you, my estimation is that you just don't care about you just don't care about such things because you never encountered a problem. Yeah, you know me well enough. Okay, last one, Judith. Hi, Judith. Can't wait for your move. I know, I can't either. I'm all excited. Need your advice if you don't mind. Well, no, I don't mind, Judith. I started an avocado seed in water back in January, and it finally started peeling its outer skin this week. I assume that's a good thing. Yes, it is. That's the first stage in an avocado getting ready to grow, is the skin will start peeling off and opening up and stuff. Okay, and then the crack appears at the bottom. Let's see. Finally started peeling. I assume that's normal. Okay, I also tried starting 2 sweet potatoes. Boy, this is a sweet potato day. I also tried 2 sweet potatoes on 1228 in the water method with the toothpicks, and other than a few things that look like they might be roots, nothing has happened. I'm thinking that the grocery store got them and put them through some kind of retardant so they wouldn't sprout. What do you think, or should I give them up? As far as the avocados, avocados can take months to germinate. I know that sounds like way too long, but you know what? Avocados don't play by your schedule. Sometimes an avocado will split right away and you'll see a root coming out in a matter of a couple weeks. Sometimes it can take a few months. I had avocados growing in here, and I don't put them in the water. I just throw them in the soil, cover them up, and they come up. Thing is, one of them didn't come up one time. I thought, the heck with it. And I threw the soil in with my potting mix, and I was going to take the seed out and throw it away. I totally forgot. And then I threw more soil in with my cocoa tree, and because the soil seemed a little low. And one day I was watering, I noticed this little stem thingy coming up, and I thought, what the heck is that? And I unburied it, and it led to an avocado pit. So it took months. It took like, what, 2 to 3 months for that thing to do it. So don't give up on the avocado pit. Just set it aside. If you're growing it in soil, set it aside, keep it slightly moist. Eventually it's either going to, 1, grow, or 2, turn into a pile of mush. If it's not a pile of mush, it's still viable and it may still grow. As far as the potatoes, you know, I used to say that grocery stores, oh, first of all, grocery stores don't do anything with their potatoes. It's done over in the storage facilities and the warehouses. People have said, yeah, they spray the potatoes to keep them from sprouting. I thought, you're crazy. What are you talking about? You know what? I was wrong. Yes, I was flat out wrong. No defense, no explanation. I was wrong. This guy here, wrong. A lot of the storage facilities do actually spray or treat an area with potatoes to keep them from germinating. That's actually how they do seed potatoes, to store them all through the winter. And then, of course, it wears off before spring and they start sprouting. And that's why you get these potatoes that have this on there. But with potatoes that you eat, they treat them a little bit more harshly with that stuff. And it keeps them from sprouting because you don't want potatoes sprouting under your cabinet. Some of them do. You know, some potatoes will, but some potatoes won't. I guess it depends on how how well the stuff takes to the potato, but they do treat it. So I was wrong. They do treat potatoes, and I found this out from a university website. It isn't just some, you know, random website out on the internet. This is actually from a university, their agriculture department that I checked it. So yes, they do treat them, and if you don't see sprouts, well, maybe you need to get another potato. Just get a different brand of potatoes. Maybe that brand of potatoes came from a certain area where they treated it a lot better. Get a different brand. Generally, I'm thinking, I know this is just me thinking again, the generic potatoes are less expensive, and generally there's less put into them. So maybe those would grow better. I've never had a problem with potatoes germinating, you know. Throw them around onions. Onions make those potatoes either one, go rotten, or two, start sprouting eyes. One or the other. So that's my answer to that. If it starts looking really creepy, throw it away. But also, if you're sprouting them in water, change the water every couple of days. That keeps all the goo out of there. I think that pretty much does it for Weekend Edition. I know it's a quick episode. I did a quick episode on the Praxis channel for Monday, and I'm doing a quick episode now because I don't want to go on and on and on for 10 years. By the way, don't forget, end of the video, blank screen. If you got annotations enabled, you're going to have a good day. If not, have a good day anyway. This is Ray at the Voodoo Garden channel. I'm out of here. Bye.